if we were standing around the LGBTQ plus water cooler, this is what we may all be talking about this week. It's sponsored by Hot Topic. Hot Topic is an American retail chain with nearly 700 locations, specializing in counterculture-related clothing and accessories, as well as licensed music. Hot Topic represents many varied interests of the LGBTQ plus community, including music, movies, graphic artists, gaming, and a lot more. Hot Topic features one of the largest collections of Pride merchandise that celebrates all aspects of the LGBTQ plus community. And Hot Topic is a major supporter of the diversity of our community and supports many events, festivals, and nonprofit LGBTQ plus organizations. Very notable is their support of the Trevor Project, the LGBTQ plus community's most important voice for LGBTQ plus young people. And that's why they are sponsor of It's Happening Out's Hot Topic. Okay, here we are. The study, conducted by researchers from the University of Sydney in Australia, finds that gay men who exhibit more traditionally feminine qualities, such as a higher voice or effeminate mannerisms, are much more likely to be discriminated against when it comes to career advancement opportunities. Researchers found that heterosexual study participants' anti-gay sentiments influenced their preference for the more masculine presenting actor, while misogyny influenced both heterosexual and gay study participants in their voting. This means both gay and heterosexual men discriminate against more feminine presenting gay men when it comes to filling high status roles in business. Our hot topic of this week is new study reveals effeminate gay men hit a gay glass ceiling in the workplace. What do y'all think about the study and what it says about us?
So I think, I do agree that there is a prejudice that exists in corporate America across the board. However, I don't believe that there is a gay glass ceiling. And that's based off my own opinion and my own experience of working in corporate America for 20 plus years now. And just my experience of, there's never been a job interview that I went to that I never got the job. And there's never been a promotion that I was up for that I never got the promotion or I never got the raise, because I come to work and I do my job just like everyone else and I get rewarded as such.
And you're a nerd.
That works too. But when I see articles like this about hitting the gay glass ceiling, I often wonder, why is that? I'm more of the person of if something bad is happening to you, then you need to look in the mirror and reflect on yourself. What are you doing because of that situation? Because I'm me here with you guys. I'm the same with my family, with my friends, when I'm at work. So I've never experienced that prejudiceness, and I've done quite well for myself in corporate America.
A couple of quick questions to add to conversation, then you jump in.
Thank you.
Do you present more masculine or feminine? Choose one. Which one?
But that's a hard question to ask because
it's choose one.
But I can't.
Okay.
Because
why?
It depends on how you define masculinity or femininity. I mean, I sit in my office and cross my legs. Does that mean it's more feminine? But the straight guys in my office cross their legs too.
In the heterosexual business environment, would you be identified as more masculine or feminine?
That's I don't know. I don't know, because I've had coworkers that didn't know that I was gay.
Okay, well, so then therefore, that's probably identification that is more masculine, and you haven't experienced that.
He passes. He passes. Okay. I'm sorry. If he doesn't look at him, I mean, he passes.
You're adorable.
You're beautiful, but you pass.
Here's the point that I want to make to you. If you were much more effeminate, you would not have the situations that you have. I'm challenging that idea of your observation. You would face much more discrimination than you face. When you say, I haven't had this experience, the study is suggesting that you haven't because you're more masculine presenting.
I guess that's the situation, but I mean, I also don't walk around the office and be like, "Hey sis, how's your day?" Or "Hey girl," or what? How?
There are gays that do that.
That's them. It's not them.
That's who they are. But
that's who they are. This study is suggesting that if they are that, they hit a glass ceiling that they can only go so far in the business environment.
I think it's on them. I don't think it's on the
So-
business. I don't think it's on
Nancy,
their boss.
you work in the
I think it's a
business world.
reflection.
I'm
of them.
literally.
I wanna hear what Anthony
Go ahead,
said.
Cameron. I know you were going to say.
Oh,
Yes.
Cameron, I'm sorry, Papa.
It's okay. Nobody really knows that I worked in the office business for quite some time. But
I mean, by your attire, it's
know,
hard to
right?
believe.
And that's what I wanted to leave primarily.
Casual
but
Fridays.
Casual Fridays, always and forever. But coming from a business world where I was running departments, doing the tasks that needed to be done between 3 different individualized groups, I was the liaison of all groups. And I was gay, where I was like, girl, what you need? Hey, sis. Honey, no. Or I'm sorry, Barbara, but the fiscal projections just don't match up. I was that, effeminate gay. And I hit that glass ceiling really quick. I was denied promotions, denied raises because of a more masculine presenting man. I was denied a position in an HR role when somebody new who I trained came on, and 3 months later they said, we're going to move him up. And then I'm like, why?
And he was straight. And he
But I
was
think
straight.
that's
was
based
straight,
on perception and not fact. I think that's an insecurity that people have, that they're being passed over for promotion.
wait,
Let me pull up my
Because of that.
pitch.
And
Do I look insecure?
Hold on.
Insecure?
Here's the thing. One time it's an insecurity. Multiple times it's an issue.
Fact.
Yeah.
Because the thing is that if you are, because I'm a business coach, right? In my day life, right? I'm a business coach. I work in like a very conservative industry. I'm not going to get into it. But the thing is what Cameron's saying is actually very true.
Mm-hmm.
If you are a person who is leaned on repeatedly, if you're given responsibilities, if you're given things, but you're not given that title,
Yes, ma'am.
what is the reason why?
Then you need to speak up.
I agree with that.
Yeah, you need to have that.
May I throw tables and everything you're saying? So again, yes, sexual, love it all. So as a former educator, the effeminate folks rose too because they were women leaders, and so the effeminate folks kind of meshed more with the effeminate. So as a gay person who didn't always agree with the effeminate person, often I lost jobs, I lost opportunities because you could not come into my office and say, hey girl, stop, pause right there. So my name is Mr. Da-da-da-da-da, address me as such. We're not talking about Beyonce, we're not talking about all this. This is what we are. However, that effeminate individual could have those conversations with those individuals.
Yes.
And Florida is a no-fault state.
Yeah.
And so the moment that you and I do not gel, so all my experiences have always been with those effeminate folks is if I don't give in to where you want to go to meet your adjacent, the folks who you look up to and who is in your circle, I get tossed out. So on my flip to the table is the effeminate can rise to that glass ceiling based on the coattails of the women that they
And
ride
based on the industry too.
And based on
And that's the thing,
Fully.
because the thing is, we're talking about
Business.
we're talking about business, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the world of business, I don't care what anybody says, gender still matters.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right?
women are
Absolutely.
behind. Come
Women
on, women
are
are behind.
still
I mean,
behind.
hello, where do you think the gay boy is?
In clarity, surveys show that in executive decision making, from the CEO boardroom to top end management, even into middle management, women only represent 22%.
Thank you.
Yep.
Right? And that's the thing, right? We
absolutely.
call it like what I talk to my clients about, right? It's called culture fit, right? They've disguised all of the misogyny, all of the homophobia. It's now disguised under the wall of culture fit, right? You are not culturally the fit for what we think of as a leader.
Correct.
You're not what we think of. So unfortunately, I mean, I hate saying this, it's very legal because it is
absolutely.
legal.
Completely. Wow.
But that's the thing that we use. And the fact is that if you are not presenting in the proper way, if you are not conveying what they think of as the image of that company, you are not going to be put there.
To that point, I want to ask broadly, do you think that this study is a reflection that it is why so many, we reported the impacts of COVID during pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we pointed out in pandemic, that the reason it was hitting the LGBTQ community so hard is because of the disruption of business, and that such a lion's share of LGBT were represented in tourism.
Yes.
They were represented in hospitality, in bars, in restaurants, and other related fields. Does this, therefore, this study represent that we are gravitating to those because we have the least negative response to us?
The least pushback, yes.
The least
Of course, retail,
much
that's
so.
where we're all at.
So I will give you that. And again, I want to kind of just fall back on, again, it also leads into your outward presentation, because the white effeminate gay is more successful than a black effeminate gay. Let's be very clear. And so the adjacent to the white woman versus the Latina and black woman, again, that hierarchy. And so although the business of education if you lean into that, you can go. And so I think that's why a lot of our folks during that COVID time, especially minority folks, went to where our niche was because that's where we were safe. That's where we knew we could feed our families.
Yep.
Very interesting. We can't get into if the study is true. The study indicates that it is true. We can't get into what the ramifications in this conversation, but it's something that we have to continue to talk about because if the study results are true, then we have to have conversation to LGBTQ community. I hear how Cal loud and clear say, wait, you're making choices in terms of how you're presenting.
And I'm not saying that it wasn't easy, because I feel like I have to work 20 times harder than everyone else to earn a seat at the same table that comes as easy as to everyone else.
Absolutely.
And to that, in our exploration, and I'll make a note in terms of we want to continue this conversation, but one of the obvious answers to your perception versus other perception in LGBT is your success is because you've worked so hard to do it.
Yes.
And others don't work as hard.
Right.
And as a result, they face the discrimination.
I mean, if you're going to come in late every day with a frappuccino, you're not going to get promoted.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay.
But
We'll
that's
talk about that
very
later.
true.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Okay, well, that's our hot topic of the week. Quite interesting of the
Personal
study
grudge.
results. Are you an effeminate gay? And if you are, the study suggests you're hitting a gay glass ceiling. All right. LGBTQ plus news is vital for our community and for the broader world as a whole. We have enough enemies at Fox News. Tucker, Sean, and Laura are loud. We need passionate allies. Happening Out Television Network, Queer News Tonight, and It's Happening Out are literally out of the closet and into the headlines. Our community needs your support. Like this broadcast and subscribe now to ensure the growth of the entire LGBTQ plus community.